Hello, namaskar, namaskara, namaskaram, namaskar. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. Welcome, dear aspirants, to my class, The Daily Current Affairs, where I will cover the important and significant happenings since the past one day, 24 hours, and also make you understand how to use that information for your upcoming Prelims 2024. As Prelims is becoming challenging year by year, we have dedicated ourselves in understanding how to equip you in tackling the prelims examination. These current affairs will also be very important for mains as well. Let's begin, but before I begin, I would like to inform you about our course, the Prelims 2 interview batch that we have launched since yesterday. See, from 19th of June, these live classes have been launched, but the first day was orientation class. You haven't missed out on anything. So please take admissions before we close our admissions, that is on 30th of June. We are going to close down on our admissions from 30th of June, and you have to take admission in this particular course if you want to get good marks and of course qualify Prelims 2024, Mains 2024 as well as interviews. We have a guidance plan for that. All right. And right now also we are providing you a discount. We have limited seats, for that we have a discount. Actually it costs rupees 60,000 to 70,000 of different batches. If you want to take admission in English, it's 60,000. But if you use the code PD Live, okay, that is the code I have given you over here, PD Live, you will get it for 29,999 only. If you're not comfortable in complete English, you can also go for the English batch, which is an amalgamation of English, in Hindi and English. Alright, so that becomes English. And then we have Hindi as well. And if you use the code PD Live, all the three batches will be made available to you at 29,999 only. In one batch, you can take the admission. Let's move ahead and talk about the various events. We have a lot to cover today. So it's going to be a little longer session as usual that I take. But let's move ahead with our plan. With respect to Mesolithic cave paintings, consider the following statements. Panchmadi is an important Mesolithic site in India. Human beings shown in the cave paintings are highly stylized as glorified stick figures, and a good sense of rhythm can be pointed out in these paintings. So what do we have to see? How many statements given above is or are correct? Now if we talk about Panchmadi, yes, it is an important Neo Mesolithic site in India along with Adamgarh, Bhimbetka. So first statement becomes correct. And yes, in these cave paintings, human beings are shown in a very stylized manner, glorified as single sticks. And there is a good sense of rhythm where groups are repetitive in nature. Group of humans are repetitive in nature in different caves in the Mesolithic cave paintings. So that means there is a rhythm in the paintings. So all these three are correct. All three will be the correct answer. Why have I asked you this question? Because a Mesolithic period rock painting which is depicting a person tilling a piece of land, that means agricultural activities were prominent in Mesolithic age. So this has been pointed out in Guntur district of Andhra Pradesh. This has been found out. And it has been found out in the Orvakalu village. Alright. When there was a survey in the lower river Krishna valley, all this was found out. So the rock paintings on the back walls and the ceilings, they date back to the Mesolithic age, roughly from 5000 BC. Okay. And Mesolithic age is the middle stone age, which is an age between the Paleolithic to Neolithic period. Okay. And you see Mesolithic age coincides with 10,000 BC to 8,000 BC. Alright. And the temperate climate back then ensured that there is more edible vegetation. So that is why agricultural activity started to take place. Moving on. See, this is a Mesolithic period painting from Egypt. And you can see animals. That means domestication or hunting. These two were the prominent things back then. That, of course, coincides with the Mesolithic period, coincides with the beginning of the agricultural communities. Invention of bow and arrow helped in hunting, and also the domestication of dogs, which went with the humans when hunting used to take place. Alright, so this is another picture that I have attached for you. You can see this is a Mesolithic age painting. There is also a presence of a wheel in Rajasthan. Also, there is another one which shows domestication of animals and human figurines. Alright, so this is a very prominent finding recently. That is why this question was important. The most interesting Mesolithic art consists of paintings similar to the cave paintings from the Paleolithic era. This is one of the prelims fact that could be asked in your paper. Now, as we know that the Mesolithic paintings are spread across the various regions of the world, but the most important concentration we can find in the east of Spain. And Mesolithic paintings change in regard to the topics where the human groups were participating in either hunting or rituals. Human beings are shown in the cave paintings as highly stylized, single stick, glorified single stick. Very often the grouping of figures are painted in repetitive patterns. So we do not even know what they are doing, but group of humans were drawn in a repetitive pattern. That means there was a rhythm in the paintings. Moving on. Rock art is widely distributed in India in northern, western, eastern and southern region. And if we talk about the important cave paintings that pertain to Bhimbetka, Adamgarh, even Panchmadi and certain regions of Jharkhand. Okay. And the various states include from Ladakh, Union Territory, Manipur, Himachal Pradesh, even Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So if it is asked about rock painting specific to Mesolithic period, these kind of questions could be asked in your paper. Moving on. Consider the following statements. The Sri Gundicha Yatra finds a mention in the Vishnu Purana as the most important Rath Yatra. There is a total of 12 Rath Yatras. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? First statement, the Sri Gundicha Rath Yatra, which is commencing from today, is actually mentioned in the Skand Puran as the most important of the Rath Yatras, and there is a total of 12 Rath Yatras. So first statement becomes incorrect, but second is correct. So the correct answer will be option B. This is the Rath Yatra carrying Lord Jagannath, the Lord of the world, Lord Balbhadra and Devi Subhadra to the Gundicha temple. Okay, where they will reside for 9 days and then return back to the temple. Moving on. Now in the Skanda Puran, it has been mentioned that Sri Gundicha Rath Yatra is is the most important Rath Yatra of Sri Jagannath Puri. And according to Bamadev Samhita, it is said that those who can witness this Rath Yatra, it is a blessing to them. Also, is the Rath, if you touch it, even if you touch it, what happens that it is a symbol, this chariot is a symbol of Sandhini Sakti. That means if you touch it, then you will get the compassion and blessings of Sri Jagannath or Lord Jagannath. This happens in the holy city of Puri of Odisha. Okay, and it becomes important because it has been asked in the art and culture section about these kind of festivals. Also, the important lords are Lord Jagannath, Lord Balbhadra, the sibling of Lord Jagannath, and Goddess Subhadra, again the sibling of Lord Jagannath. And this signifies where does this Rath go? To the Gundicha temple. Okay, here the Gundicha temple, here the lords stay for 9 days, then return back to their original place. So devotees gather to pull the chariots. It's a very inclusive festival. Doesn't matter what background you belong to. If you want to pull the Rath with the help of the ropes, the chariot with the help of the ropes, you are most welcome to do that. It culminates with the return of the deities to the Jagannath temple after a 9-day stay. So during this period, lots of folk dances, rituals, art, paintings, all these happen, and that's a very beautiful festival of Odisha. Alright, let's move ahead. With respect to the Unified Payment Interface, consider the following statements. The NRIs from Singapore, Australia, Canada, Hong Kong, Oman, Qatar and the US, Saudi Arabia and UAE as well, and UK, they can use UPI on their international phone numbers when they are residing in India. December 2022 was the month which saw UPI touching its highest ever mark in the transaction in terms of value, and it was launched in the year 2015. So what do we have to do? How many statements given above is or are correct? Because so many countries have now adopted UPI as their mode of payment, even in India, this is becoming a major, you can say, way forward for India to set an example when it comes to digital transactions. So yes, the NRIs who are visiting India, they can also opt for paying with the help of UPI. And these NRIs are from Singapore, Australia, Canada, Hong Kong, Oman, Qatar, US, Saudi Arabia, UAE and UK. So first statement is definitely correct. Yes, December 2022 was the month in which, in terms of value, the UPI transactions touched a record. And this UPI which helps us in real-time payment, was launched in the year 2016 and not 2015 by the NPCI. Okay, so first and second, both the statements are correct, but third is not. 2 only will be the correct answer. Now, a report by the State Bank of India has said that UPI has replaced much of the transactions of the currency in circulation. That means people are relying on UPI more rather than in cash. Even in the digital arena, there are many modes of payments in the digital transaction arena, but UPI is the most preferred one. The largest share in UPI transactions come from the semi-urban areas, which is 35%. Metros account for 20% of the total value of the UPI transaction, urban areas 20% and rural 25%. Other than this, the states which are responsible for 90% of the total UPI transactions in terms of value include Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Assam and Haryana. This is a prelims fact, could be asked in your examination because this is an important report by SBI. The average ticket size, that means the transactions of average monetary value that took place, was 1600 to 2000 rupees. And this UPI is a very important tool in forwarding the dream of digital India because it's an advanced version of the IMPS service, which gives us round the clock fund transfer. If you want to transfer the fund, you do not have to now rely on the timings of the bank. So this is the biggest reason UPI is being looked about. And it is a payment interface which has brought so many banks and seamless transfer of payments through these banks under one hood. And this still accounts for UPI currently is the biggest among the NPCI operated systems of digital transaction. There are many digital transaction systems. UPI stands the major part of it. NPCI launched it with 21 member banks in the year 2016. Economic Survey of 2023 said that out of the total 8,840 crore financial digital transaction that took place in 2022-23, more than 52% was done with the help of UPI. And December 2022 was an auspicious month for UPI because it saw UPI touching highest ever mark in transaction in terms of value. Remember that, in terms of value, not the number of transactions, but the volume of transaction that had happened. And that was 782 crore transaction. This was INR 12.8 lakh crore rupees. It's huge in single month. So this is a big feat. Non-residents from these many countries will be able to pay using their international phone numbers whenever they come to India. And there are many other countries that have adopted this payment interface, including Bhutan, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, UAE. Even many other countries are in talks with India for this. Okay, so these kind of questions could be asked in your examination. That is why it is important to revise them all the time. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. During a total solar eclipse, the sun's corona is clearly visible. Total solar eclipse, remember, not partial. During the total solar eclipse, the moon blocks out the bright light of the sun. Okay, so let's see what is our option to choose from. Yes, if we talk about both the statements, these are correct. During total solar eclipse, the moon comes in between the heavenly bodies, earth and the sun. So the bright red light is blocked by the moon. This makes the corona, which is the outermost layer of the sun, to be more clearly visible as a ring. So second statement is definitely correct. And because of the second statement, the first statement also becomes correct. That means statement 2 is correct. Statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1 as well. I have told you the reason why. So both the statements are correct and statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1 is correct. Why have I asked you this question? Because Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics, which is from Pune, which is in Pune, it has delivered the Solar Ultraviolet Imaging Telescope suit to ISRO. And ISRO will be launching Aditya L1. Aditya L1 is a mission by ISRO to study the mysterious Earth. And this will be put at Lagrangian point 1, which provides the perfect visual area and perfect gravity for the Aditya L1 to be situated. So here only in Aditya L1, soot will be put as an instrument out of the 7 instrument, because soot will help us understand the mysteries of the sun. Sun cannot be understood clearly. Why? Because whatever missions we are going to launch, they are going to deal with certain not certain but very extremely harmful ultraviolet radiations and heat. That is why it is important to ensure our instruments are doing the job they are supposed to do. So what is SOOT? The SOOT means Solar Ultraviolet Imaging Telescope, and it is designed by the scientists at Pune's IUCAA to study the sun's ultraviolet emission, so that proper picture imaging can be done and we can know more about the sun's behavior and sun's surface. Okay, they will capture high resolution images from the sun's atmosphere, known as, specifically if we talk about the outermost layer, which is corona, in various UV wavelengths, and it will operate in the far and near ultraviolet regions of the sun. So sun's atmosphere consists of many layers like we have on our earth. So of course photosphere is there, then after photosphere we have chromosphere, after that we have corona. Corona is the outermost layer of the sun, and the mystery behind it is that the major part of the sun, which is nearer to the sun, the layers, they are not as hot as corona. Corona, being the outermost layer of the sun, should be lesser in temperature, but it is not. So we have to understand that as well. It will observe the hotter and more dynamic regions of the sun's atmosphere, the soot, and it will actually do it in the transition regions and the corona. Okay, where transitions take place. When transition takes place, the intensity of the heat also should change. So how is it happening? We are going to understand it with the help of soot. Corona is the outermost part of the atmosphere, and it is usually hidden by the bright light of the sun's surface. And when the total solar eclipse takes place, the moon comes in between these two heavenly bodies, the earth and the sun. The moon actually casts a shadow, and what happens that the major light, bright light of the sun, because of that gets blocked. When that happens, the layer of the outermost layer of the sun, which is the corona, is visible. Alright, so this is the reason. With respect to the research and wing analysis, consider the following statements. RAW works in cooperation with the Intelligence Bureau. RAW was created in 1968 to hand India's external intelligence affairs. Currently, RAW works under the Ministry of Home Affairs. How many statements given above is or are not correct? Because we do not know much about RAW being an intelligence agency, not an agency, but a wing. So that is why it is important for us to know. Did you see that what I did over here is to make you understand the difference between an agency and a wing? That, keep it in your mind, I will talk about that. So yes, research and wing analysis, or RAW, is known to not work in cooperation with the Intelligence Bureau. So that makes the first statement to be incorrect. RAW was actually created in 1968, that is correct, when Intelligence Bureau could not handle the two back-to-back wars, India-Sino War and India-Pakistan War well. And currently RAW works under Prime Minister's office. Alright, so that makes first and the third statement to be incorrect, second is correct. We had to choose how many of the statements given above are not correct. 2 statements are not correct, 2 only will be the correct answer. So Ravi Sinha, who is a senior IPS officer from Chhattisgarh cadre, has been appointed as the chief of RAW, and he will replace the incumbent Samant Goel. His tenure is about to end, and Ravi Sinha will be there for 2-year term. So India's RAW is country's premier intelligence agency. It was created after the failure of 1962 failure of IB in the 1962 Sino-India border war and Indo-Pakistan war of 1965. Why am I saying it calling it a failure? Is because external foreign intelligence was supposed to be collected in a proper manner, which wasn't done. So it was needed that we create a dedicated wing for it. So RAW was created in 1968 for that purpose. Currently, it works under the PMO, Prime Minister's Office, as a wing and not an agency. Why? Because an agency's reporting goes to the Parliament. So, to escape the Parliament's Right to Information Act, in order to safeguard the secrets of RAW, this was done. It was created as a wing under the PMO and not an agency. Alright, and India's intelligence bureau is actually responsible for all of India's internal as well as external intelligence activities prior to 1968. But after RAW comes into the picture, RAW collects military, economic, scientific and political intelligence through covert and overt operations. Covert means hidden, overt means revealed. And they also monitor terrorist elements and smuggling rings that transport weapons and ammunition to India. The main countries of focus include our neighbors, China and Pakistan. So the head of the RAW is a secretary. That means administratively, they report to the cabinet secretary. Cabinet secretary reports it to the prime minister. So you have to understand the manner in which RAW works because it could be asked in your prelims exam as well. With respect to heat wave, consider the following statements. Heat wave, yeah. Heat wave may be described provided actual maximum temperature is 37 degrees Celsius or more for coastal station. That means those regions which are coastal. The peak month of the heat wave over India is May. Which of the statements given above is or are not correct? If you have followed my daily current affairs, you can easily do this because I have asked a related question to heat wave once and I have also taught you what are the different temperatures or temperature departure for different regions in India. So if you have done that, you will be able to answer this question. So first statement is definitely correct. Second is also correct. The correct answer will be neither one nor two because we had to select the not correct statements. Both are correct, so neither one nor two will be the correct answer. Nearly 100 people have died in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, Eastern Bihar, over the past few days amidst rising heat. And that has become a cause of concern. Heat wave like this was never recorded in the past few years, and that is why we are seeing so many deaths. So if we talk about heat wave, it can be defined qualitatively and quantitatively. Qualitatively, it is the condition of air temperature which is fatal to the human body. It's too hot. The air temperature is too hot. Quantitatively, it can be called out to abiding by certain temperature threshold. That means if the temperature is going beyond a threshold or a benchmark, then we can describe it as a heat wave. So heat wave, the criteria for alerting people that a heat wave is occurring, it is considered if maximum temperature of a station reaches at least 40 degrees Celsius or more for plains. For the plain areas, it should be 40 degrees Celsius or more, or 30 degrees Celsius or more for the hilly regions. For coastal stations, it can be more than 37 degrees Celsius, or the temperature department could be 4.5 degrees Celsius or more. What is temperature department? Let's know that as well. See, based on departure from normal, that means supposedly a place's normal temperature is 35 or 39 degrees Celsius. But for heat wave to occur, the departure should be 4.5 degrees Celsius to 6.4 degrees Celsius more. That means if we add 4.5 degrees Celsius to it, it will move beyond the heat wave threshold. And simply for severe heat wave, it is more than 6.4 degrees Celsius. Alright. And actual maximum temperature means the actual or real temperature that actually occurs. So if the actual temperature is remaining more than 45 degrees Celsius or equal to 45 degrees Celsius, then also it can be a heat wave. For severe heat wave, when the actual maximum temperature is 47 degrees Celsius or more. Okay. So like this, from temperature departure as well as the maximum actual temperature, we can understand the concept of heat wave. Moving on. What is the period of heat wave in India? It is from March to June. In some cases, rarely, it also happens in July, but the peak time is May. Where do we observe heat wave? Heat wave can be observed in northwestern parts of India, central, eastern, north peninsular region. Sometimes we can also, feel them in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. But generally, it occurs in Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Odisha, Rajasthan, Gujarat, and parts of Maharashtra and Karnataka as well. Now, with respect to India-Sri Lanka maritime boundary, consider the following statements. The portion of the boundary that passes through the Park Strait was established based on the principle of modified equidistance in 1974 agreement. The boundary in the Indian Ocean or the Gulf of Mannar and in the Bay of Bengal was established in 1976. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? What is equidistance? Principle of equidistance. It means the area of the median line. Supposedly, this is the median line between the two countries having maritime border. So, this median line should be equidistant from country X, and this median line should also be equidistant from country Y. This is the principle of equidistance, okay, according to a 1958 convention. And it was modified for historical waters of the Park Strait between India and Sri Lanka in 1974. So this becomes correct. First statement is definitely correct. And second statement is also correct. Both the statements are correct. 1 and 2, both the statements are correct. Let's understand it. The issue of fishermen keeps on arising with respect to India and Sri Lanka. Fishermen, they cross the maritime border, caught by the other group, other country. This is creating a problem. So, the maritime boundary between India and Sri Lanka, it was established through a group of bilateral agreements signed in 1974-1976. This spans some 288 kilometers from the tri-point, including from the Maldives in the west to the 200 nautical mile limit of India and Sri Lanka in the east. Now, as I told you, the concept of median line, so this is the median line. The boundary in the Park Strait, this is known as historical waters, and this was reached by a bilateral arrangement of the year 1974. Alright, so this is correct. Other than this, the boundary line from Maldives in Indian Ocean to Bay of Bengal, it was done through a historical agreement in 1976. Alright, so I hope you know about this. Moving on. The theme for the World Refugee Day 2023 is Let's Open Hearts to Home. No one should be without a home. A refugee in our homes, or hope away from home. Now, themes are important. These are oftentimes asked in our paper. The correct answer will be hope away from home. Option D. June 20 every year is observed as the World Refugee Day, and it highlights the plight and vulnerability of people who are refugees due to disturbance in their country, due to climate changes, due to livelihood changes. And it was established in the year 2004 when United Nations General Assembly passed the resolution 55/76 to establish World Refugee Day. This was also done to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the 1951 Refugee Convention. This convention talks about the plight and vulnerability of refugees. It's an internationally recognized definition. It provides an internationally recognized definition of refugee, highlights the legal protection should be provided to the refugee, rights and assistance to them. The theme for this year is Hope Away from Home. And the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, they have made certain statements which is showing that the refugee crisis is increasing in the world. A record 100 million people across the world, they have been forcibly displaced. That means this could be due to war, due to invasion, due to civil war, anything. So nobody wants to leave a place they belong to, of course. But if they are persecuted, if they are not properly finding their human rights to be conserved in that area, they can move away. So 100 million people have been displaced. This earlier was at 108.4 million. And this has increased mostly because of the ongoing conflict in Sudan. The army and the paramilitary forces, they are fighting each other in Sudan to capture power. And this is causing a lot of ruckus for the Sudanese. So they are moving away. Another issue is the Ukraine war, Russia-Ukraine war. Because of that also, a lot of the displacement has taken place. Globally, in 2022, 35.4 million refugees fled abroad. And some 62.5 million were displaced internally only. That means within a country they are moving. Consider the following statements with respect to the German Peace Prize. This is a very fresh news. Salman Rashti has been honored with the prestigious award in 2023. The Peace Prize was established in 1949 and Amartya Sen was awarded the German Peace Prize in 2019. How many statements given above is or are correct? First statement is definitely correct. He has been honored with this prestigious German Peace Prize for the year 2023. Last year, he survived a critical injury when he was stabbed in New York. The Peace Prize was established just few years after the World War II. That was it, 1949. And yes, Amartya Sen was awarded the German Peace Prize in 2019. So all the three statements are correct. All the three is going to be the correct answer. Salman Rushdie is a British American author and he has been awarded this prize. This is the Peace Prize of the German Book Trade Jury. Okay, and the Peace Prize of the German Book Trade Jury said that he has been a passionate defender of freedom of thought and expression and appreciated his resolve in the face of constant threat to his life. His threat to his life was because of the Supremo of Iran, Sir Salman Ahmad Rushdie, his entire name. He was born on 19th June 1947 in Mumbai. And his novels show a magical realism along with historical fiction. And most of his novels are based in the subcontinent of India. And they have been translated into over 40 languages. So he is a very renowned writer. His depiction of the Prophet Muhammad in his fourth novel, that was the Satanic Verses, this caused a threat to life for him because back then the Iranian Supremo Ruhollah Khomeini, he issued a fatwa against him calling for his execution. He was in hiding. Salman Rushdie was in hiding for that as well. So in 2007, he was conferred the rank of Knight's Bachelor by Queen Elizabeth II. That is why he's known as Sir Salman Rushdie. This award, the German Peace Prize, was instituted in 1949 in order to oppose in word and deed what endangers peace, understanding and equality among nations. If your work is making this happen, then you can be called for this particular prize. It all happened when writer Max Tau sent his book to Hans Schwartz. He was another author, and since then the institutionalization of this award happened. And this particular award, that will be given to Sir Rashti, it will be given in a ceremony on 22nd October 2023 in the Church of St. Paul in Frankfurt. Okay, moving ahead, economist and philosopher Amartya Sen has also won this award in 2019 for not only evaluating a society's wealth on the basis of economic growth indices. That means whenever we see economic growth indices, we can understand, okay, this much development has happened, this much development hasn't happened. But he also talked about the opportunities that are available to the weaker sections or the marginalized sections of the society for their own development. So that is why he was awarded the German Peace Prize, Amartya Sen, in 2019. Okay. Now, if you want the PDF of this class, you can contact me or get in touch with me through my Telegram channel. That is Pooja Dwivedi, StudyIQ UPSC. If you have any question with respect to preparation for UPSC or any doubt, you can also contact me on my Instagram channel. That is Pooja Dwivedi. Okay, StudyIQ UPSC. Okay. So I hope you understood this class well. That's it. Thank you so much for watching.